Nerd Ryan here, and today we're going to be talking about Sonic Adventure. So full disclosure, I played Sonic Adventure DX, so there might be some differences, and if you guys played the original, I'm not sure. I've only ever played DX. I played it when I was a kid, and I played it recently. So let's get through the gameplay aspect first, because this is going to be very interesting. So there are 6 different stories, 7 technically, 6 different playstyles, 6 different types of missions. You get Sonic, which is the classic feel of, well, I shouldn't say classic feel because it's the first 3D game, but it's the quote-unquote classic feel of just going through the level, trying to get to the Glow Ring or get to the Chaos Emerald or whatever the objective is. And fighting some bosses along the way. It's also the longest one. It comes with 11 different missions. You then get Tails, which is 5 missions, and it's a race. 4 of them with Sonic, 1 with Eggman, and again a few boss fights. Then you get Knuckles, which is, I believe, 5 missions as well, and it's treasure hunting, which is very fun. And a few boss fights as well. All of them have boss fights, except for Big the Cat only has 1. After that is Amy, which is a chase scene for 3 levels, and actually, yes, 1 boss fight too. Next after that is E102 Gamma, almost said 123 Omega, which is a third-person shooter. And it's 5 levels with 5 bosses as well. Some of the bosses are actually built into those levels. And then finally, we have the best part of the game of all time. It's Big the Cat Fishing Simulator, which is 4 levels and 1 boss. Sarcasm. Yeah, so let's go through each story, and then we'll also talk about the final story, which is Super Sonic, which is a final boss battle, basically. So through Sonic's, the story is Sonic finds this creature named Chaos in the middle of a city. He goes and fights it, and then has to rescue Tails. In that, Tails made a new jet, so that's powered by a Chaos Emerald, so they have to go and find the Chaos Emerald. Turns out that Eggman is also going after the Chaos Emeralds. Surprise, surprise. And he's using it to control the creature of Chaos. As this happens, Chaos builds more power, and he becomes Chaos 6. Eggman also uses his egg carrier and I think an egg city to basically gain more power and go after Sonic. Amy also gets captured in this, which is why Sonic goes to the egg carrier to save Amy. After that, he ends up destroying the egg carrier and fighting Eggman on said egg carrier. And after he wins, it crashes down. And it seems that everything is happily ever after. Sonic having 11 missions, I found, was honestly just the right amount. I mean, you basically got to play through all but 1 of the missions zones in the game. But there are some gripes. For example, the hub world stuff of finding keys and everything like that is a lot harder than it looks. It's also a lot more janky, which I know we'll get used to along the way, because every Sonic game has jank. But yeah, it's sometimes really hard to figure out what you're supposed to do next. I had to Google a lot, and that's not just for Sonic, that's for every character. But yeah. Also, everybody always says that this was the perfect transition for 3D. I did find some issues in the 3D play. For example, just controlling Sonic is very, very difficult. I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to the 3D yet since I've been playing the 2D games, but it's very, especially during the platforming, very hard to control. You also get some upgrades, which are mainly just for speed dash. I remember liking Adventure 2's light dash and everything a lot better. This one is very slow. You have to stop your momentum to charge up to go and do it. But yeah, stuff like that. Also, boss fights are mostly fun except for the final boss fight. It took me about 2 hours to beat the final boss. Aaron and our dogs saw how frustrated I was getting with that boss fight. And yeah. But all in all, Sonic's story was fun. Tails basically follows Sonic's story, except you're just racing Sonic. Also, with both of those, you do get a mini game of a Sky Chase zone, which is just like Adventure 2 or Sonic 2. You're racing through to take down the egg carrier. But Tails moves a little bit slower and is able to fly. That does not mean that the platforming's easier. Tails tires out pretty quick when he's flying. So if you try to use like a sky jump, or whatever the things are called, you really have to time it perfectly. The final level where you're racing Eggman was very hard at the end for me, just for the fact that I didn't know if I could make those sky jumps at all. And I would try, and then I would die, and then I'd have to go back. Also with that, if you die during the race after hitting a checkpoint, it doesn't matter if the game glitched and the person you're chasing with was stuck in the beginning. They will spawn right at that checkpoint where you're at. And if you lose, you do restart the level fully. Doesn't matter if you have 99 lives or 0 lives. Also with that, the final boss with Eggman on that, I found very fun and very simple. Tails, instead of having a spin attack, has a different type of spin attack where he just spins his body around. And doing so and just regular jumping does damage. After that is Knuckles treasure hunting. It's very fun using his gliding and his climbing and just being able to find Chaos Emerald pieces with the radar. It was very enjoyable. Also, instead of, his story is the Master Emerald broke due to chaos, and Knuckles has to find each piece. In doing so, playing these missions just were very fun, very enjoyable. Probably the highlight of the game for me. I really like treasure hunting in games. I don't know why. I think it's literally because of SA2 as a kid. But after that, we got Amy's. Amy's is the shortest story. She finds a Flicky and basically is protecting it from a single robot. At the end, she has to fight the robot and defeat it. I didn't know all the way through that you could actually hit the robot as well to stun it during the race. I'm sorry, Aaron. I did not know that. I let her play the first level, told her that it's impossible to do that, and then the next level immediately did it, and I'm never going to live that down. But the ending fight also was kind of interestingly hard, but at the same time easy. Hard to figure out, easy once you got used to it. But yeah, Amy's story, and also instead of the spin dash, you have her hammer. Amy's story was also fairly fun. E102 Gamma, being a first-person shooter is pretty simple. It's also timed, though, so you have to make sure that you have enough time. Although if you do die due to not having enough time, it does adjust it to like a minute left instead of the 5 seconds that you have at the checkpoint. Learned that the hard way. But yeah, every enemy that you kill and such, it will add time to your countdown. Each mission starts with 3 minutes, and you're supposed to gain time as you do it. That, even though it's 5 missions, that literally will last you about 30 minutes it took to beat this story for me. It's also probably the easiest one, just due to the fact of the aiming system is the easiest thing. Of course, you don't. The attack is using the gun. But yet, you also have to fight each boss. it's very fast-paced and very easy to do. Speaking of fast-paced and easy to do, now we talk about Big the Cat. His whole story that he... Oh, I forgot to say Gamma's story. Gamma's story is actually the best story. I can't believe that I forgot to say it. He is a robot made by Eggman that once he meets Amy, he realizes he has to redeem himself and free all the Flickies that are attached to his brothers. That includes making the sacrifice of freeing the Flicky in him. So after he destroys all of his brothers, he destroys himself so they can all live free. Okay, now let's get to the most shallow one that is slow-paced and difficult. Big the Cat. Luckily it's only 4 missions, but the whole thing is that Big's friend Froggy keeps running away from him. And Froggy has a Chaos Emerald in him. So Big has to fish Froggy out. He can also catch other fish, but the main thing is to fish Froggy out. The final boss is Chaos 6, which I feel at that point everybody fights except for Gamma. And Big's fight with it is literally one hit. If you're able to hit the target, you win. But with the fishing, you have to find Froggy. In the first level it's easy because it's one pool, then it's an entire ocean, then it's a frozen area, then it's an entire ocean, then it's a multi-level carrier. And then in doing so you have to lure Froggy over, maybe lure some fish, but if you're trying to speedrun it you don't want to. And then getting Froggy to stay, then not breaking your rope. I wanted to pull my hair out. It was the most boring and difficult part of the game with a not so likable character at the time. Honestly, in my opinion, probably a very problematic character nowadays. Big is big, and he also is probably neurodivergent, to say in a positive way here, because to 1999 they were probably using some different words for Big the Cat. It looks like I've started Sonic Prime, it looks like they kind of fixed Big in that, but I know in Sonic Heroes he's kind of the same way. And it's odd to play as and also makes him not a likable character. Once you finish all of that though, you get the secret ending, which is Super Sonic. In that you have to do some overworld or hub world stuff, which is annoying again. And then Sonic goes supersonic and fights Perfect Chaos. Perfect Chaos is using all the negative energy in the Chaos Emeralds, and Supersonic is using all the positives. I waited till this time to talk about the backstory of Chaos. So Knuckles' ancestors were at war with the Chow, of all things. You know, the cute little creatures that are like basically dogs and stuffed animals put together? Yeah. Knuckles' ancestors were at war with those. So one basically turned into this water monster that became the god of destruction, literally Beerus level threat in Sonic Adventure, and destroyed the Echidna tribe. In that there was the chieftain's daughter Tikal, who was trying to protect the Chow, so she was basically protected by Chaos. She comes back as a spirit that gives hints and also shows the past of building up to them. So with that, Chaos is still angry at the world, and with Eggman trying to control it, it gets more angry and becomes its perfect form. So Sonic has to stop it. This, you're kind of just thrown in last minute. The controls run similar to Sonic. You don't get a spin dash though. You're invincible, and you have to collect rings, otherwise if they run out, you die. In doing so, you have to hit chaos 6 times. I thought it was 3. I put down the controller, then lost because I didn't realize it. And then once you do so, you beat the game. All in all, the 7 stories were fairly good. I just really disliked Big the Cat. Tails was moderate. Amy was moderate. Knuckles was fantastic. Sonic was pretty good besides the weird jank that he got. And E102 was also fairly good. Supersonic was obviously great because it hypes you up, but it also has its flaws. The game altogether, I do feel that it is okay. Maybe I just had issues with the jank too much that was kind of pulling me out of it. But it was very challenging and very entertaining on being challenging. In it, though, there was a lot of distractions and a lot of issues, but the issues made it more difficult, which made me determined to beat it, which not a lot of games these days let you say that. I'm going to fully give Sonic Adventure a 7 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan, signing off.